Okay, are you ready to go into a very mystical, very cool space? I want to take you out here into that expansive quantum field. We're going to talk about the future more and more, but I'm going to take you, advanced. All right, okay, you ready for this? Because I'm going to talk about the malleable, guaranteed future that goes into a space that you can't even imagine right now, but how do you do that? And how do you know what that future could be, and how do you choose it? I'm going to tell you how right now. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Well, I teach Breakthrough Fear. That's my 5-star course, and I'm going to tell you something today that I hope you wrap your head around and have an aha moment. We're going to talk more and more about the future because we're going into a space where people are open to changing it. People are open to saying, I don't have to accept what's going on out there, or I don't have to adhere to the rules that I've been told that have been in place for centuries that have really not kept us in a very good place. So we're going to talk about the fear, because the reason I teach break through fear is because fear is a limitation. Why do I teach breakthrough instead of eliminate fear? Because you are here experiencing being human, and fear comes with that. It's inherited. So it doesn't go away. It's an experience that we get that actually can be used in a very positive way. How is that? Because fear feels bad, right? When you break through fear, you eliminate limitations. When you fear, you believe that you are not controlling what's happening in your life, to you, your future, and you have struggle against what you see out there, and you believe that somehow it's going to control you and you have no say over it. That you're not the one creating that present day and future. The truth is, when you break through fear, you drop all limitations, and there is no future that you cannot envision and create, even here as a human being. Now, all pieces have to work together. We don't stand alone because we are one, appearing as individual experiences and expressions, and everything interacts together. You are the other component in your mean boss, or your abusive parent, or the teacher that encouraged you. You are the component of all of these things working together to create your own experience. All right? When you fear, you go into the density that says, somehow something's going to happen to me, and that you are separate from the very experiences that happen on your behalf, in your favor, that's going to help you evolve. But fear doesn't see it that way. Fear thinks something bad is happening. When you go into an awakened state and you break through fear, and if you guys want to come take my course, you can learn how to do this very quickly. You understand what's happening at the time. And so instead of fearing these things, you see them, you use them, and as constructive lessons, they actually take you to the next level of manifesting. In other words, you have to master these things, and you start to see them as fun challenges, just like you would some kind of a game, right? We love the Pac-Man coming out to eat us, right? Well, there would be no game if they didn't come out. But the more you play that game, the more you understand some of the patterns that happen. And you want to break those patterns, right? You want to take a different route next time. And you know when this happens, this little Pac-Man comes and maybe another one will pop out here. And you start to learn and you get higher and higher. You get further and further in the game. This is no different. But we don't fear that. Why don't we fear that? Because it's a game. We know it's not real. This is no different. This is an illusion. It's just a really amped up one. Right? And so my friend just told me that she got the, the interdimensional, experience. And I said, you're kidding, you got that? And she says, no, she loves it. It's so cool. Why? It's really an escape. And it is just as real. When you look down and you're standing out in the middle of space and you see nothing but black space, I've put these things on before, it's just as frightening or vivid as if it was happening to you. Why? Because you are actually visually seeing. You are seeing that. This is no different. In fact, this isn't quite as believable as when you go outside your body and do other things. That's more real than this physical world ever was. Now, breakthrough fear. I want you to understand this. When you go outside of the physical constraints, when you know it and you realize you're the energy field that's creating everything, not the human being that reacts to it, that's one component of it. When you realize you're the creator of everything, you step outside the constraints of reacting to the present moment. You actually start to place yourself into, let's just say, whatever you want to create in your future. You can actually create it by stepping outside of the present moment. Now, you're always in the present moment, right? But the present moment creates that by stepping into it. So in other words, you can, okay, stick with me here. When you in this moment step into a probability that you consider the future, because we operate on a linear timeline, which is not real, that probability, it does exist already. You're not stepping into it. You're just shifting into something that already exists, not in the future. It actually exists right now. Okay, does this make sense? Every single person watching this video right now can completely control their future, change any circumstance, can affect the entire collective, because what you do is going to affect absolutely every other component, every person, every what you do and don't see. It's all affected because it's all connected. And that takes going past the fear, breaking through it. Because the fear places you on timelines, and it places you in limitations. It places you in lack of control and a disbelief. And when you go into that, you create it. So, as an unlimited being, I get to create limitations with fear. So, when I'm done being limited and I give up fear, I realize all things are possible. The only reason you go into fear is because you don't think you have control. You don't think you're doing it. You think it's happening to you. You don't like what's happening, and you see no value or purpose in it, and you believe this is just how things are. If I told you that no matter what your situation, what do you want to change, and you came to me, I'd say, we can do that right now. We can change it right now. And I do teach people how to do that. And it's actually very simple. These are simple steps. But it requires your absolute attention to it. And then shifting outside of the programming, the beliefs. Now, I'm going to give you an example. This is one of my videos if you go into my free training. When you have a desire and you continually focus on it because you're trying to create it, you're trying to manifest it, that's what we usually do. If you don't change the mind, the belief behind the desire, it will never manifest. So you think it's not working, when what you don't realize is you never changed the mind or the belief system behind that operates the person who's trying to create the desire. So you actually limit yourself. So let's say I desire to get a higher paying job. All right, so let's say I desire, it's out here, right? It's here. But here I'm saying I'm not qualified, I'll never make it. My parents told me I was a loser, And so we never change this. We're so focused on the desire, saying, I know all that. I don't believe it anymore. I'm going to focus on this that I want. It doesn't work. because you're trying to bypass this over here, and you're focused on the desire, changing your future, changing everything on this planet. We can do that. But everything here stays the same. So in other words, it's like saying, I want a clean water, and then putting fertilizer on your lawn every day that washes out into our bay and kills our manatees. It's cause and effect, right? Now there are actual spaces that you can step into where you bypass cause and effect, because you're no longer in those rules. Those are rules. Those are laws. Those are illusions too. You can actually step outside of that. There's no cause and effect because you're outside of time and everything else. But let's work with what we've got here. All right? We're working in linear time. There is a cause and effect here until you master and go into that space. I'm telling you right now that if you break through fear, what is there? There's no struggle. There's 100% faith. There's knowing. And then also fear. When you break through fear, you don't try to control the situations either. You have complete trust in the highest of your operational self. In other words, your higher self, which is not separate from you. You're tapping into that power. Tap into your power. Those of you who are taking my course, learning how to control that power. You tap into that, and so you don't dictate. Only the ego says when and where and how. You stop doing that. My Miracle Circle, come on over and join the Miracle Circle, $30 a month. We do live sessions. It's pretty cool. And somebody said to me, I'm meditating and I'm thinking on, what I desire and this and that. Am I blocking? And I said, yes. You just said the one word, I'm thinking. So in other words, I have to do this. And so that's fear. And that's also not belief. As if something has to be told 20 times what you desire. It doesn't. You are it. You are the very thing that's creating what you desire. So you don't have to tell it anything. You just know it. So when you break through fear, you transcend the human rules, the human matrix program that says we're limited, and then we go into consciousness. This is how we change the world. So you have to see it and know it, and then you live it. So when we change the world, we stop talking about what could happen that's negative. People are planting that to create it. People that know exactly what they're doing, that are planting that with people who don't know what they're doing. All right? So unconscious people will go on and watch the negativity, get programmed, and try to decide who's true, whose story is true and whose isn't. None of it's true, and all of it is. Because if you believe it, you'll create it with them. And so we'll have a tipping point of who wins. All right? So if you don't have your focus on any of that, one of my students said, I've been going back and forth between somebody saying this and somebody saying that, and of course it's showing up on my YouTube suggestions. I say, it's called artificial intelligence. AI's tracking you. But you have to be visiting that to even give them that information. So then they get more and more of this opinion and that opinion. I said, those are outside rules, creations, manifestations, not yours. You get to choose if you participate in any of them, but you can create your own. It's not that, here's how things are, and do I believe it? It's like, what's here? What am I going to create? Because I create that. And those who also are in that realm of what you're creating will join you. Because you're on the same frequency and you become entangled. When you break the bonds of entanglement of all these stories out here, AI stops tracking you because it has no information on you, because now you have focused in the quantum field of something completely different. In fact, you might be creating it. And you might find Channels like mine where I tell you that you can create any future and that there's nothing to fear. And that if you're going into that space, it's because you are entangled with it. And so how do you break through it? Well, you guys know this is free, this down here. And so you go into my Breakthrough Fear. It's actually Manifest Anything series. It's free. And you'll get my offers. You can go to landriaonkka.com and take Breakthrough Fear. All the pricing's changing. I'm taking the whole platform up to a higher level. We're going to have an actual live coaching and everything because I think you're ready for it. I think you're ready for that stuff that is just so mind-boggling, for humans to wrap their head around. And we're realizing we aren't the human or the head. We don't have to wrap ourselves around anything, any one concept. We're everything and anything. We have to stop fearing that because we fear that which we don't know. So create. You can create anything. These are free videos, internet training. Want to create something? Want to create coaching? Want to create affiliate marketing where you promote healthy things for the planet? What do you want to create? Step out of fear. Step out of fear and anger and all the things that, this isn't working or whatever. What am I learning? What am I supposed to do here? How do I evolve? And so I'll teach you all of that. Now, if you want to take Breakthrough Fear, come on over. If it's not your thing, the Miracle Circle is $30 a month, $29.95 a month. You get a training. You get 2 hours of recorded training and 2 hours of live training in 1 month and a practice. We pick a subject and we work on it at your own leisure. If you don't make the live class, you get all the recordings. It's time to take action. It's time to create your illusion. It's all an illusion, so wouldn't you rather be the one choosing it and creating it? It's possible. All right, please subscribe and share these. We're going to go into that space more and more, and I'm going to teach you more and more how to do this. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.